What's up, guys? Welcome to the Anime Sensei channel. Today's video will cover the overpowered main characters who take everyone by surprise with their overwhelming strength and latent potential. It's going to be an interesting list. Now, please note that these aren't arranged in any specific order. They'll be coming at you randomly. Well then, shall we begin? Let's see what we've got.
ありえない。まさかその力は。
The first one on our list is Muyo to Roji no Mahoritsu Soden Jimusho, Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. This is one of those anime that hardly anyone ever talks about. The story isn't anything revolutionary, and the same goes for all of its other components. However, even though it is good at best, this anime can be an unexpectedly pleasant watch. The story centers around the idea of spirit possession. There's a duo comprised of two youngins named Muyo and Roji. They're both experts when it comes to magic law, and if there's one thing that they do better than others, it's taking care of evil spirits. However, there are terrifying drawbacks that come with this responsibility. Will Muyo and Roji really be able to keep doing their jobs without any pitfalls? I'd say if you're on the lookout for a less known anime, this might be it. Peter Grill to 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸𝐭. Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time. Now guys, this is an awfully bizarre anime that takes the harem fantasy genre to a whole new level. Each episode is only 12 minutes long, and there are only 12 episodes. As for the plot, there's a guy named Peter. He's what you can refer to as the strongest warrior in the world. But for Peter, this title brought more trouble than what it was worth. He's simply a guy who wants to have a healthy relationship with the girl he loves. But now that everyone knows of his grand accomplishments, he can hardly even take a stroll without running into a woman from another race who wants to sleep with him in order to get his seed. However, because Peter has already made up his mind that he won't betray the trust of the one he loves, he tries his hardest to stay wary of such women. But how long will he be able to keep his ideals? Kobayashi-san, Chi no Maid Dragon. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. At the time of writing this script, the second season is yet to air. But considering the success of the first season and the anticipation for this second season, it's going to be another well-appreciated season. The story itself is about a lady named Kobayashi, or at least it was supposed to be, until the spotlight of the main character is taken by the dragon girl Toru Kana, who she meets in front of her apartment. Oddly enough, this wasn't her first time encountering this girl. She also met her last night, but since was drunk, she casually just offered Kana a place to stay at her house. And now Kobayashi has to follow through on her promise. It's a very wholesome anime, and if you're a fan of light comedy, you may enjoy this one too. 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, 𝐻𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐵𝐿𝐃 Curious. 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧 is a story that takes place in a world where supernatural curses aren't an anomaly. The main character is a boy named Minase Hazuki. He's a high school student, and for some reason he happens to be inherently resistant to curses. But his life takes an unexpected turn when his father sends him a peculiar black cube. It happens when he wakes up one day. He finds a girl named Fear standing in his kitchen, and of course, she isn't wearing any clothes. It turns out that she's the human form of that cube, and now that she's in Hazuki's possession, it's his responsibility to not only care for her, but also fight alongside her in order to defeat cursed instruments, as well as their owners. Assassin's Pride. The story takes place in a world where humans have substantially decreased in terms of their population. Those who are still alive reside in cities that are encased by glass domes. And even though humans are close to the brink of extinction, there's still a lot of discrimination between the nobility and the commoners. And this distinction can also be seen in their ability to utilize mana, as it turns out. Those with the blood of nobility are capable of defeating the dark creatures that exist outside the glass domes. The story itself is about a 13-year-old girl who lacks the ability to utilize mana, even though she's a noble, and for that reason, she's ill-treated at her academy. In order to help her, a tutor is hired, but there's an underlying plot beneath all of this. If the tutor realizes that the girl lacks the ability to use her mana, he's supposed to kill her. 慎重勇者 この勇者が俺と行くぜに慎重すぎる Cautious hero. The hero is overpowered, but overly cautious. The main character of this anime practically embodies the popular phrase, you can never be too cautious. If something requires him to prepare, he'll do so rigorously, all the while imagining the worst scenario possible. He'll do whatever he can and go even further beyond in terms of being careful. He'll never stop at anything unless he's prepared more than enough. That's the protagonist, Seiya, for you. He's summoned by Restarte to save a world that's on the brink of destruction. From there on out, Seiya takes every precaution possible. He trains himself to an extraordinary level, always expecting the unexpected. He makes sure that he's prepared absolutely 100%. I'd say this is one of those refreshing anime that laughs in the face of overused tropes. Not very serious, but very entertaining. 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, To Be Heroine. This one is actually a sequel to the anime called To Be Hero, but due to the independent nature of the story, it also works well as a standalone. It begins with the heroine, Hanaya Futaba. She's been living an ordinary life up to now, but then the story happens and she unexpectedly ends up in another dimension. Now here's where it gets interesting. The one who summoned her is an 8-year-old boy, and what he wants is for her to fight the assassins that the other baby bosses send after him. Does this plot sound crazy enough for you? Though I should mention, this isn't just what this anime is all about. There's also a lot more, as you'll find out once you start watching. It's a surprisingly well done anime, only 7 episodes long, yet well worth it. Togainu no Chi, Blood of the Reprimanded Dog. The story takes place in a world that has been completely ruined by the Third World War. An organization takes control of Tokyo and renames it Toshima. Now, in this city of Toshima, there are battle games that are held in the back alleys. These games are referred to as Igura, and they're overseen by this very organization. Many combatants fight for blood in this game, just so they can earn the ticket to go up against the tournament's king. However, there is another tournament like Igura, but this one is relatively less gruesome in the sense that it doesn't allow the participants to kill each other, and the use of weapons is also prohibited. The main character, Akira, is practically undefeatable at this game, but he ends up having to participate in Igura after getting convicted of murder in this other tournament. 𝐒𝐡𝐚 no Blacksmith, the Sacred Blacksmith. This story takes place in a world where a war forced the surviving nations to establish peace by using new laws and order. One of these changes was the restriction on the use of demon contracts. Now, 45 years after the war, there's a girl named Cecily who is passionate enough to pursue the noble purpose of protecting the locals with the sword she inherited from her father. Lucky for her, the first encounter with a bad guy comes sooner than later. She comes in to save everyone, but her sword gets broken and she has to suffer a loss. Fortunately, someone actually skilled comes along and saves the day. But what will Cecily do now that she's lost her important sword? And who was this person that came in to save her? 𝐒𝐴HO Sensei, Magical Warfare. This anime follows the story of a boy named Takeshi. He's living a normal life until one day he comes across a strange, unconscious girl as he's on his way to kendo practice. He doesn't want her just lying in the open, so he takes care of her. But when she wakes up, she decides to turn Takeshi into a magic user. From there on out, Takeshi gradually realizes that there have always been magic users who have been peacefully coexisting with the normal humans. He ends up enrolling in a magic school, and now, together with his new friends, he has no choice but to get stronger in order to prepare for the upcoming crisis. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found an anime or two that you haven't watched yet. Now make sure you like this video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. And if you're new to the channel, you should consider turning that red subscribe button gray. I post regular content multiple times a week. I know that I didn't cover all the relevant anime in this video, so if you have something to recommend, you can let us know in the comments below. Well then, see you guys in my next video. Until then, stay safe and watch anime.